All right, welcome to the very first community stream for Crystal Heroes. With me here today is Remo, and this is an AMA event, so ask me anything. Hopefully everybody can hear us, and we'll start getting the show on the road. For those of you who don't know what an AMA event is, it's basically where we answer questions that have been posed by the community, in this case, in our Discord server. And we have quite a few. I believe we have 28 or 29 questions. So we will go through those and try to get as in-depth as possible. Hopefully... Go ahead.
Thanks for the intro, Matti. Yeah,
yep.
Just want to send. Looking forward to this. Greetings from the sunny island of Crystal Heroes from here. We'll try to go through most of the questions, especially the burning ones. But pretty much greetings to all those that are watching live, but also those that are watching us from YouTube, as this one should be serving as some kind of a milestone for people to getting into the Crystal Heroes game, where we can explain the basics.
Yes, exactly. So, without further ado, we shall basically outline of the process here. We'll be going through questions first, and then along the way, if there's any interesting questions in the chat, or after we've gone through all the main questions, we'll go see if there's anything in the chat that needs sorting out as well, and then we can have a go at the actual game itself, so you can get some sneak peek previews of what the core of the game looks like. So, without further ado, the first question is, how did you come up with the idea for the game? And this was posed by Louise.
Yeah, let's start. By the way, for everyone currently watching, feel free, as said, to post some additional questions or things into the chat. We'll be picking some of those at least, as we'll try to kind of get all the info out. So back to the original question, how did we come up with the idea? The game is inspired by old games and some kind of a, let's say, archetype RPG genre games. Some of you may be seeing some of the mechanics that we are using in the game being inspired by games that are moving on the map, which are, for instance, the Hero series. So some of the things are definitely coming out of there. But there is this kind of a twist with the merging mechanic that we wanted to try out, that we think is like a nice thing to play with and to gamify the upgrade system of an RPG, which was not tried before. And this kind of makes the game much more approachable, in our opinion, compared to, let's say, some very, very heavy RPGs where you need to care about like multitudes of power layers, such as, I don't know, AFK Arena or Raid Shadow Legends. So this one would be a little bit more casual game where the merging mechanic offers that kind of accessibility to get it kind of easier to understand, easier to get into, but of course hard to master still, because you still have a choice, a strategic choice, where to use your resources, how to kind of spend your energy on the tokens, and which you need to upgrade and which you need to kind of put forward or put on the back line in order to overcome the challenges the game will be throwing at you. So I would say, yeah, definitely innovation is one of the things that we wanted to try out with this game, and don't want to kind of follow anything that's kind of on the market as some kind of a trend, but kind of try something new and fresh.
Yeah, that's super cool. We're into doing new stuff, which is really cool, and we can really see it in this game too. Well, let's go on to the next question. It actually touches on something that was already in the chat earlier. So the next question is, how is access to the beta release distributed? Again, this question is from Louise.
Yeah, so currently the game beta opens up for community somewhere this August. Somewhere like we're aiming at like middle of August, or even a little bit before. More details are gonna be announced next week, so or even later this week, I guess. So we'll see, but as soon as possible. But as I said, like middle of August will be definitely the aim that we are kind of aiming for this one, to get early feedback from people and some kind of pointers of like, what do you feel, how do you feel, of course. That said, everything you see here and everything that I say is, of course, kind of prone to change, because we are taking the kind of the iterative road where community, of course, can talk about this and kind of get their opinion into the game, like we did with Battle Legion, which also a lot of features or things were inspired by the feedback from either Discord server or community itself. So feel free to kind of join the thing. But as I said, more details going to be announced later this week or beginning of next week, how to join the game.
Yes, and at the moment it is exclusively for the Discord community, and we'll see. Possibly, if somebody wants a date, then we can lightly say that maybe 10th of August might be a day to visit the Discord, join up, and exciting things might happen. So next question. What is the expected business model?
Yeah, so this is one of the, let's say, more burning questions. Let me clarify that one out, because currently in the current gaming environment, there are different things floating around the market, some more successful, some less successful, some kind of borderline problematic. So yeah, let's clarify that. The game Crystal Heroes that we're talking about will be definitely free to play, mainly, meaning that the core of the game is free to play, but we want to kind of introduce or supplement or complement it with the NFT functionality, meaning that there will be, let's say, a layer of collectibles, which are the spirits that we are talking about, that will be the NFTs of the game. It's definitely not a format that you have heard before with the, let's say, play to earn phrase. We are definitely not kind of trying to join that boat, because we think that's not really like a healthy design for a game. Rather than that, the NFTs should help support the game, where like some parts of the game, especially the spirits, will be more of a collectibles that can be traded between the players. So the collection and trading aspect itself is the main focus here, not the earning aspect, really. Like, it's something similar to as if you would have a card collection in, I don't know, Magic the Gathering, for instance, where, of course, the physical cards that you have, you can still sell them, but it's a really big question if this is kind of a way to earn money. We definitely don't want to get into this kind of a stereotype that this is the thing that you can ditch your job for. It's definitely not. The main focus of the game is, of course, the experience and the fun of it, and the main driver even for people to spend money on the game will be having the best experience with the game itself and completing their collections and being able to experience the challenges of the game rather than invest something. So that's the main kind of a thing. But yeah, it's a free-to-play game. It will be completely free to access, with some layers of the game being on the NFT layer.
Yeah, that was a good question from Snoop Cat there. So heading on, we have a lot of questions, so we'll just start heading on through them. Well, what is Web3 and how does it apply to the game? This one's from Mr. Binks.
Web3 is currently kind of perceived as the next big thing to hit gaming, or even the whole kind of internet, because there's this kind of notion that Web2 is the current period we're living in, and Web3 is the next version where everything's going to be better, basically in either metaverse or put on blockchain or some kind of crypto derivative technology. What we are currently using from the term is the NFT aspect and the crypto aspect of it, of course, where we want to have some kind of a ecosystem around the game being supported by the game collectibles, being the NFTs. But other than that, this is like a term that's really, really loosely defined. So for us, it means that we want to kind of move to the next stage of this kind of, let's say, not even a business model, rather than like a type of a game. You can imagine or like compare it to something like when games were moving from browser into mobile 10 years ago. And this would be like exact same period currently where we're trying to breach into something new as for a platform itself, because times are changing pretty much. A lot of games, even normal mobile games, are, let's say, pushing and moving into, let's say, PC environment. They are having PC clients and cross-platform clients. The best example would be something like Genshin Impact, for instance, which is like a monster of a game that's accessible on nearly any platform. And this is also like one of the trends that we kind of want to explore, where the game, and we definitely plan the game to be cross-platform, not only for mobile.
Yeah. Excellent. That is one thing. Gaming has changed in the past 10, even 20 years so much. It's a wild ride. And so the next question, there's actually two here from Louise. What chain are Web3 features utilizing, and what is the name of the token?
Currently, there is not a name of the token established yet. We'll see with what we arrive. But regarding the chain, we're currently looking really closely at Solana. But of course, there are other options such as Polygon or Immutable. It will depend, of course, how the market kind of goes and how the technology will evolve. All of these have some advantages and disadvantages. So in the end, we'll kind of pick the one that suits us the best and the technology that can kind of support our needs regarding the game. So, but if I would say for now, we're closely leaning towards Solana. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah. Okay. And sticking with some of the NFT topics, how do you ensure token and NFT scarcity?
Yeah. This will be maybe a longer one, so if you want, you can play the game a little bit in the meantime.
Okay, well, we can do some gaming. I want to hear this too. it's good stuff.
Yeah. So NFT scarcity and token scarcity is a big question in this field. Let's take the example of Axie Infinity, for instance, so we can go into more detail. How do we see it and how kind of this market moves currently? Axie had this kind of, let's say, revolutionary thing, which they called play to earn, in a way that you can play the game and then they would reward you with currencies, and in the end you can breed the axolotls and sell those on the marketplace, and it sounded pretty well. Problem was that this was unsustainable long term, and any economy that will have infinite sources without infinite sinks will be prone to inflation and like unsustainable problem. Whereas the game worked, or let's say this whole scheme worked only until the number of players entering the game was kind of a very big in order to support all the players that were in the game itself. As the, let's say, hype or the excitement around Axie kind of faded out, their DAU pretty much crashed, and together with their DAU, the economy also crashed. So this is definitely a road that we don't want to follow. We take it as that Axie is one of the pioneers in their environment, and I'm guessing that the team did everything they could to kind of turn this around, but some of the fundamentals were designed already in the economy, and in the end they wouldn't, even if they wanted, some of the things that happened, they could not expect that they would happen. That's normal with games. So I would take it as some kind of pioneering case. So for our case, regarding the NFT scarcity or like the things around us, we definitely won't have infinite sources of these, meaning that the NFTs that you will be getting will be not even generated. They will be either farmed or given through either marketplace that will have like limited quantities, or through events in the game. So we'll make sure that like there's not like some kind of a, we definitely want to prevent the bot farming behavior or this kind of like super exploitative behavior where people just like rent farms of stuff to exploit as much value out of the game. It would be rather rewarding people for their progression. So it would still be possible to get an NFT even without like buying anything, but it would be hidden behind like a skill cap and the progression kind of a capacity of your account. So yeah, for the best engaged players, definitely it would be possible, not for everybody. And by this system, we would keep a close eye on the kind of supply of NFTs in the economy. We also have systems that are very effective in managing this, meaning that you will be able to actually fuse your NFTs to create something better out of them. therefore being able to kind of control the flow of NFTs in the economy. So yeah, we'll be monitoring that closely, but we definitely won't have infinite sources for this. That's like one of the bigger things. But on the other hand, the whole kind of a thing of the like the ecosystem is not really designed to be, let's say, a second job. It's, again, we want to build it as a challenge, like a experience to be able to challenge the content of the game, go through the encounters, go through the story. We're putting like a really big focus on the story, as you could see already within the game. There's a lot of dialogues, lots of like custom-made quests, items, heroes, and so on and so forth. So it's more of an experience that we want to kind of give to the players rather than give some kind of a second job that you would need to grind out. So that would be the main thing.
Cool. That was some good information there. I'm sure lots of people will be pulling back the slider and watching that part over and over again. So let's see what we have. We were just taking, I think this is the next question. Let me just check. Yes. So, what makes Traplight want to try and make a crypto type game after other studios have failed? Ask Zoom asking this.
Yeah, this is a really good one. Maybe I can do just a continuation of the previous one, but still like a good question. Innovation is hard. That's really hard. In the gaming industry, it's very hard. But if you don't try, you kind of you never take your chances. You never win here. So we definitely want to try, because we feel that it is something similar what was happening before, where games were switching from browser into mobile. Everybody remembers that like first mobile games were those like 99-cent apps, like Angry Birds, the first one. And then only suddenly where freemium model was introduced, and few of the games introduced it, and then suddenly everybody was using it, and now it's morphing into something completely different. So we definitely want to keep up with the trends and innovation in the industry. That's one thing. The other thing is that the model is changing anyway. Even if we wanted, just by doing, let's say, a completely same design paradigm as we did with Battle Legion 2 years ago when it was released, wouldn't make the cut in the current market currently, because this market is moving really fast. Keep in mind that you are pretty much competing with the whole world, because games are not really made for your local audiences. You are always making the game for the whole world, for the whole of app stores and Google Play stores. And anyone can pretty much challenge you in your genre if he's sitting in America, China, Asia, Europe, Africa, doesn't matter. We will all meet in the end in the Google Play bar or icon row, where you can choose your game and you compete with all these other companies. So we definitely trying to keep up with the trends and the market kind of shifting towards some of the new things. You could already see it even in like the previous period, where a lot of games are introducing, as I said, cross-platform functionality, where they are able to be played on PC, console, and mobile all together. They are introducing kind of subscription models and trying different things towards their monetization, whereas it could be more taken as some kind of a hobby rather than the usual like it was like 3 to 5 years ago, where it was all about these kind of really big spenders. So these days, I guess it's kind of getting more and more accustomed to the needs of players, and the thing is that the overall player base is still increasing. So it will take some time until like really big shift comes into play. I mean, like another platform, but still, if you only shift after you see that shift, you're already late. So we definitely don't want to be late and try to keep up with the market trends. That's why we're interested in this kind of a new endeavor, and we're trying our own angle at it.
Yeah, that's good. That's good stuff. It's always good to try one's own angle. So next question, will free-to-play and NFT holders fight in the same category?
Yes, definitely. We don't want to kind of divide people between the ones that have and the ones that don't have the NFTs. In the end, currently the game, as we're planning it, is more PvE focused. So it's kind of better to have stronger friends that can help you out. Everybody can experience the kind of adventure mode for themselves at their own pace with whatever they can get. It's that, let's say, the spirits, even the spirits design vector, where you can have spirits on top of your heroes to help them in battle, will be accessible even without the crypto functionality. I mean, the early part of that layer.
Excellent.
But later down the line, those ones we're taking as literally like a collectibles that you take as some kind of item that you can then use and trade in the marketplace, or give to your friends and upgrade those and kind of move them around. So it won't be limiting at all. Definitely no content in the game will be buried only behind some kind of a crypto functionality. I think everybody can get into everywhere. It's more of a question of how strong you are regarding the challenges the game will pose against you. So
yeah,
we'll see about that one. But we don't really want to limit people regarding this.
Yeah, excellent. And can token owners influence the game design?
Yeah, this is again really good questions regarding the current trends in the crypto or Web3, or however do we call it, this kind of a, let's call it the first generation of Web3 games.
Yeah.
We don't really want to create some kind of a DAO. For those that don't know what DAO means, it means like decentralized autonomous organization, where some games are doing this kind of a sale of their governance token or some kind of a token that gives people voting rights, and then they can try to steer the, not even the design, but rather some decisions in the game. We don't want to do that. We don't really believe into this kind of a thing, because some of those systems, even if they sound nice on paper, they have like some kind of really big problems behind them if you look from the practical standpoint. So no, if you will have the token that will be mainly used for utility of upgrading your NFTs, you won't have kind of any more influencing power than another community member that is expressing his opinion on Discord. We want to listen to the whole community, not just people kind of owning the NFT asset. So as we did with Battle Legion, every feedback is kind of taken into account and kind of considered. And yeah, you don't really need to kind of own anything to have a voice. And as I said, like, it will be currently what we're kind of heading through, it will be purely utility. So you will have more utility, meaning you can do like different things within some of the power vectors of the game. But definitely, if you want to voice your concern or like have some kind of a, I wouldn't even say voting rights, but kind of influence on the game, the best thing you can do is just go on Discord, engage with the community, or create community content. That's the best way to do it.
Exactly. Yeah. So Discord is the place, and especially at the moment with the game still in early phases, then this is the time to get your voice out there, and Discord is the number one place for that. Moving on, can players farm the pay-to-earn system with multiple accounts?
Yeah. So this one is we can shut that one out immediately, because it won't even come to multiple accounts, as we won't have play-to-earn systems. Some games, as I said, like this kind of a first gen of these games, is still advertising it as, let's say, play-to-earn. We're definitely not doing that. We completely understand the feedback. Even, let's say, I can see some people talking in the chat that, yeah, crypto games are kind of bad and they have a really, really bad name in the industry. And I agree. Like the first bunch of, let's say, these first-gen games, a lot of them were running on unsustainable economies and kind of promising something they would not be able to be delivered, either from economical standpoint or just by the capacity of the team regarding content creation. So we definitely don't want to do that. You know how we work. You've seen our work in Battle Legion. We take really, really kind of long time in order to push quality content out of the game. Don't want to rush it out. So that's what we want to keep doing even in this case. And yeah, we feel we can kind of make a dent there, because there are, and I fully agree, there are not really a big group of crypto, let's say Web3 games that are very, very good in regards of quality. Because a lot of these games are kind of being either rushed out, or they release something really, really early, even if it's not even playable or some kind of a deliverable.
Yeah.
But in the end, it will take them like years to complete. Like, even if we take some kind of a current announced project in the space, my guess is they won't have something like playable that you would guess in terms of, I don't know, Battle Legion until end of next year. So all those kind of announcements that we'll have this and that by the end of this year, I'm kind of skeptical for them to hit those milestones. Like, as I said, you've seen how Battle Legion was developed, so you know that how we can treat content and content creation.
Yeah, exactly. So moving on, I was just playing the game slightly there. Oh, that was the wrong one. There we go. So we just had token influence. There we go, and lost my place in the questions. So, how do the NFT spirits differ from the regular ones?
Yeah. So regular ones will be the ones that you can get even if you don't, as I said, have any crypto, or let's say any NFTs, like NFTs themselves. This will be the spirits that will be given throughout the game's tutorials, and you can kind of tinker with the system and see it for yourself how it kind of works, and then see if it is if you want to kind of engage with it more and go into the collectible NFT aspect of it.
Yeah.
But it's just like a kind of a stepping stone, so that we don't want to cut the functionality only behind the Web3 layer. There's a good questions in the chat. I can pick the right one up.
Yeah.
How on earth you expect people not to play to earn in crypto game? So I can answer that really easily. It won't be profitable. That's the main thing of it. Because usually most of these games, they work on either pump and dump schemes, in a way that like you invest early and then hope to kind of dump your early investment on the second wave of players, or you kind of count your hourly earnings in a way that it makes sense for you, that you can, I don't know, make, I don't know, as much money per hour that it's worth your time. We are definitely not aiming for this. We don't really promise that you can earn anything. Maybe in the end, if, let's say, you know, you can do the same thing pretty much with, let's say, you playing World of Warcraft for like 1 year and then selling your account. It will have some value, definitely, but people are not taking it as a job, leveling World of Warcraft accounts and selling those. Maybe they did 10 years ago, but definitely not now. So why do we expect people not to earn anything in the crypto? Because it just won't be that profitable. And the main kind of motivation that we expect people to get into the game will be playing the game itself.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
that would be the main answer to it.
Yeah. Got caught up playing again. So then the next question: what price range is the target for average spirits?
Yeah. So what's important regarding this is that we want to keep them accessible. So we're definitely looking at some kind of a lower, really like lower amounts, where they could be something like in matter of like the battle pass, or some kind of like easier purchase.
Yeah.
Because they accumulate together. As I said, you will be able to fuse those together. So we definitely want to like exclude the thing which a lot of crypto games currently had, that you need this kind of really big investment into an NFT or a token or something in order to even play the game. So we definitely not doing that, and we definitely don't want to bear like the limit the accessibility to the game just to this kind of a big purchase, that in order to even experience it, you need to like push a lot of money into the crypto asset in order to kind of play it. So as I said, all of the layers should be having this kind of free to play part, and only if you really want to kind of, you are days into the game and you really want to do and overcome the challenges, experience the story, level up your characters, move your collection, definitely then it will be for you. So you will know it will pay off in the end, because you will be using those. It will be utility for you, not an investment. Investment is not a priority for us.
Excellent. So now there's the fusion system. Does it destroy already existing spirits?
Yes. Fusion system will destroy the already existing spirits by combining them. So rather you having two spirits of the same rarity, you will have one spirit of the high rarity, which means that it will in the end be a normal progression. It can be similar to the merging mechanic that you see in the camp of the game. So it kind of fits our design there, that the spirits will be combined together to get something better out of them. So this will also serve as some kind of a sink for these to keep the economy flowing where we want it to flow. Yeah. So there won't be kind of infinite sources for infinite, not infinite things. Yeah.
Yeah. Then how are you going to deal with the buffing, nerfing of these spirits that seem to have monetary value?
Yeah, good question. Again, we're treating them as collectibles and utilities, not as an investment. Therefore, they are prone to change, of course. We definitely don't want to nerf them to the ground or kind of make them obsolete. But if we'll see that the balancing that we'll be definitely checking on is kind of off, because sometimes, you know it better than me, players can come up with some combinations that we even didn't think about, and they can be game breaking. We'll definitely try to preserve the game ecosystem first, rather than like a single NFT. Yeah. So that will be our kind of a main goal. But it shouldn't be anything crazy, of course, because as I said, even if we nerf something, it's just kind of a part of that higher fusion. So let's say an NFT on common or rarity could be taken down by 10% of power, but in the end you will still be able to fuse it into the other rare NFT to get like epic NFT. Yep. So you won't lose it that much.
Right. Then we have a few questions bunched up. They're kind of similar topics. What can you buy with gems? How are the meta layers monetized? And does the game offer pay to skip options?
Yeah, so regarding these, there will be the standard free-to-play monetization that you know from Battle Legion. So yeah, if you want to kind of progress faster, of course you can. If you want to kind of get more content immediately, of course you can. And yeah, I think we'll also have some kind of pay to skip options with gems, of course, where, for instance, the board that you see with the spawners, you can skip the timers on those, where you can kind of move forward faster if you want. But yeah, the pacing is kind of designed in a way that everybody can get some kind of a learning tempo, because yeah, we don't want to overwhelm you, but if you are an experienced player, you want to do that, of course you can. So that's to be expected. There's a normal kind of a standard model that you know from even Battle Legion.
Yeah. Right. Does the game have boosters? Example, time.
Yeah, regarding boosters, we'll definitely have consumables, which will be helping you with like battle stats similar that are done with the bosses, raid bosses in Battle Legion. So kind of, let's say, similar mechanic there. But also there will be permanent boosters, which will be, I mean, I don't know if those are even kind of but by merging the spawners, you're increasing your capacity. But it's not a consumable by itself. It's like more of an item. So yeah, maybe I can confuse this one. But yeah, we'll have consumables definitely.
Yeah. Then does the game have subscriptions?
To be decided for now. We don't have it in the current like really near design. If you're joining the beta immediately, you won't see anything like that yet. But of course, we are kind of trying to determine what would be the best model for us for progression, so everybody can kind of take their own tempo with it. As said before, as the kind of industry is shifting, we're definitely looking into possibilities here. But for now, not like let's say if we compare it with Battle Legion, where there's like a clear progression around the battle pass with the leagues, yeah, we don't have that system kind of yet regarding that, because Crystal Heroes will be a much more PvE focused game.
Yeah. Right. And can you unlock additional content via purchases?
Yes, you can, but in the end, all content should be accessible even without paying. So it's not that unlock, meaning that you will be limited to never see that content if you don't pay anything. So no features of the game should be behind the paywall. But some of the features, let's say, can be on a different layer. As said, that let's say early stages of the spirits will be accessible to everybody. Later stages of that mechanic will be kind of incorporating the Web3 elements into it, the collectible and trading aspect of the ecosystem.
Cool. Just having some fun here. Just leveled up Feindel and got 3 more power. So, what systems are part of the core gameplay loop, and how does it stand out from the already established titles in the merged genre?
Yep. I guess feel free to continue merging, because this will be another one of those longer ones. Regarding the merge genre itself, we find it really intriguing because we think the mechanic is really interesting in its approachability. Because you immediately know what to do, of course. You immediately see the thing that you want to merge with. It's kind of a nice feeling to clear the board and have this kind of a, let's say, effect of a clean room that you want to do. So this is something that really kind of intrigues us. And yeah, some of the people are really, really into merge games in the company, of course. But what we see in the current genre of games is that there's this lack of permanence, because most of the merge games that you see in the market, they don't really kind of offer you some kind of a permanent progression, let's say. They're all mainly based on these kind of unlockable maps, or maps that are being restored or redecored, or some kind of restoration mechanic. But regarding their quest system or whatever you are kind of merging towards, it's always the same. So after like 1 or 2 months of the game, you've seen it pretty much everything, and it just continues. So we wanted to create like a different twist on this mechanic, whereas our heroes are upgraded through the merge mechanic, through this kind of merge quest system that we try to develop. And we never saw like a different game that has this kind of a system. Like, because if you look at our game, let's say the merging screen, it could be compared to some other games on the market. But if you take our adventure screen, and especially the connections between these two, yeah, it's nowhere to be seen on the market. Nobody has tried that. And we find it, again, really kind of easy to learn, easy to master, hard to master, where this can create like a lot of depth, especially when choosing which hero to upgrade, but it's still very, very approachable. So that's one of the things that we want to have. And the other thing is, that's why it kind of helps us with this. Now that we are creating something permanent, we can have the collection of it. That's why the Web3 layer comes into it, because now that you created and works forward something, you can have it as some kind of your own item and do something with it, even within the ecosystem itself. So you can, again, trade it on the marketplace, trade it for something else. Everybody remembers that usual feeling that you get, for instance, in, let's say, a Diablo would be a good example, where you would get a great item for Barbarian, but you're playing a Sorceress. So what to do with it now? Yeah, you can trash it. But here in our game, if this kind of situation happens, you can go into the marketplace and trade it for the item that is actually useful for your character. So this mechanic is definitely incorporated into it, and it's more of a collectible aspect, as I said, rather than like an earning potential or an investment. So we are trying pretty much to create this kind of ecosystem around it, rather than incentivize earning or investments. It's more of a, think of it as a trading card game, where you would just have cards that you can do something more with it, rather than you would do in a closed RPG economy that you have currently in Battle Legion, for instance.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we have a some kind of let's say company anecdote here that it's easier to play when you are on the toilet, of course.
Yeah. So, what game modes are currently being planned?
Yeah. So regarding the game modes of the game, we definitely have the adventure mode that you can already see being kind of challenged on the screen currently, where there's the main story of the game. You meet some kind of early characters of the game that stays with you, and then they take kind of more and more characters into the party. And then at some point you will be getting even characters out of different modes, not only the adventure mode. So we'll have definitely event dungeons or these kind of expeditions or challenges that will have their own kind of a flavor that will be rotating out on some kind of a scheduled basis, that you can challenge those and get some kind of different heroes out of those as the progression on the adventure mode will get harder and harder as you move forward, together also with these kind of event dungeons. And then there's would be the social functionality that we're definitely playing towards. That would be the clans competing within these kind of clan-based PvE competitions with different clans. So we are not really looking towards like a player versus player functionality mainly, even though we're thinking about it. But like the first one that we'll definitely approach will be the one where clans are rather competing against each other within who is the first one to be able to clear some kind of a PvE encounter or a map or a challenge that the game poses against them. So that would be kind of the main thing to look forward. So adventure mode, event dungeons, and that kind of clan competitive PvE. That would be the three main modes of the game for now.
Excellent. And in which way can players then interact with each other?
Players could mainly interact with each other through clan functionality and then trading with their kind of Web3 assets on the marketplace. So pretty much being able to do some kind of ecosystem magic with their NFTs and kind of either complete their collection for something they're missing or be able to sell something out of their collection that they don't really need and want to trade the value for something, some kind of a different thing that they currently need regarding the challenges of the game. But as I said, there won't be like the direct PvP functionality for now. Let me pick one for in the chat. There's an interesting question. Why are you reusing character design from Battle Legion? A game with value would provide something we don't already have. I can understand this question, but the thing is that games are hard to make and content is even harder to make for them and takes a lot of time. Keep in mind that Traplight isn't that big of a company like, I don't know, Ubisoft with 30k employees. So we are using what we can in a way that like we know the art that we did, and we definitely don't want to reuse everything, but some things, especially in the early stages of the game, as we said before, whatever you see currently is prone to change, and it's some kind of a beta stage of the game. We want to have as much art in, let's say, good enough form as possible. So of course we will be using some of our kind of asset collections from other games, but it's not a priority for the game. The game will definitely have its own kind of asset list of graphic assets and heroes and everything. You never seen those in the Battle Legion, so we're definitely ramping the production up there.
Yeah, and often in these productions, and we need stuff as placeholders. So, what better place than to use old assets? Right. Next question: will this game have a competitive side?
Yeah. So the competitive side, the set will be mainly based on clan-based competition. Could be considered as set something similar to Battle Legion, where clans are competing against each other with the bosses. So we're thinking a little bit more different spin on that, but in a similar fashion, where there would be clans pitted against each other in maps more closely rather than on the leaderboard. So that's there. And regarding the PvP aspect of the game, of course, we have it in back of our heads and thinking about it, but that takes a different kind of approach because PvP in games is, of course, governed by the meta game, which takes a different approach to balancing. Therefore, it's a different beast to kind of control, which we are not putting on the roadmap immediately. So let's just say that.
Yeah. And then a little bit of a typo there. Will the game be more focused on PvE or PvP, and in what way?
Yeah, as said, it's mainly focused on PvE and will always be, because this is more story-driven, more PvE-driven, more hero collection-driven. Compared to Battle Legion, in the end, we can expect to have more, or let's say, more rich overall collection. So that's that. And as said, regarding PvP, we're thinking about it definitely in some kind of event form or something. It will come, but not yet, or let's soon. Yeah, let me put another one from the chat on the menu. As we can ask anything, which hero should be target to own, and some tips to do once the game is out to be leaders in the game. Yeah, so pretty much what to can engage with. The game will be giving you a really good collection of heroes immediately from the story. As you could see that like our kind of heroes here in the story are meeting other characters, and they in the end will eventually join your party, or sometimes they will betray you. We'll see. Depends. But yeah, there will be a healthy collection you will be given throughout the story itself. But regarding the best heroes, or like the ones that are the best ones, they will be behind the event dungeons that you can go and challenge for yourself, which will be coming in kind of scheduled matter within like a weekly basis. So later down the line, I would definitely focus on being able to kind of complete those and get the kind of best rewards out of this, which will be the heroes. So in the end, you will have a really, really big collection, because the game will have a different challenges rather than like compared to Battle Legion, where you are adjusting your deck, or let's say your units regarding the current meta game. Here, it will really, really pay off to have diverse teams at your disposal, where, let's say, some event dungeons will require, I don't know, teams mainly based on the water element or the melee-based heroes. Some other event dungeons can require more, let's say, fire heroes, because they will be all nature with some kind of nature mechanic. We want to be really creative with this, so it will, in the end, it will be more of a kind of a collection aspect here, rather than just having the best metagame build that you can defeat everyone with. So
excellent. More questions. Well, a little bouncing off a little bit of Battle Legion here. Will combat be more hands-on or hands-off like Battle Legion?
Yeah, so regarding Battle Legion, where combat is pretty much completely hands-off, this will be a little bit more hands-on experience. We'll still have the autoplay possibility, where you can, everything will pretty much be autoplayed, so we are not ditching that option. But here, heroes will have abilities that you will be able to control. Those are not currently seen within the build, because this is like a, let's say, a little bit older build than the build that we currently have in our pipeline. But we're definitely will have player input during the combat, so it is still possible to kind of get into nitty-gritty of being able to time the abilities the best way and squeeze the most out of your team if you're really into it.
Excellent. Got caught up playing again. How long are the average play sessions, and how often are players expected to interact with the game?
Yeah, you can think of it as some kind of a basic standard. We definitely don't want to make as we said before, we are not making a second job for you, or we are not making something that you can play for 3 minutes like a hyper casual game and then leave. So there will be possibilities for you to hop into the game and do some things really, really quick. If you have like a short amount of time, for instance, clear out your merge board, spend your energy, merge those tokens, and just kind of move forward towards progressing your hero upgrade quests. So that will be, let's say, a smaller session. Or if you have more time, because I don't know, you have some kind of a downtime, or you're riding a longer train or waiting somewhere, you can then go and explore the adventure or even dungeons or like anywhere else into the game. So exploration will be kind of stronger, and I would expect that this will take a little bit longer time. But it's definitely not kind of a super needed. We don't really kind of punish you for not like being in the game. Something similarly where, I don't know, you constantly need to kind of click some cooldowns or stuff like that. It's more of a, you eventually run out of the resources during the session, of course, but it's not that like if you don't get back, you are kind of losing something. It's more of a, the game is waiting there for you. So it shouldn't be definitely punishing. So that's not the problem here.
Yeah, what I've found while I've been playing around with the beta build, it's super easy to just put down and return to. It's not requiring anything major all the time. Will there be an energy system limiting play in merging and or battles?
There will be an energy system to preserve the healthy unfolding of the content. So because keep in mind that the content is kind of hand created. It takes a lot of time to do, and it's not our intent for you to like place through it in like 2 days, because it's on one hand it's impossible, because you will need to upgrade your heroes in order to overcome that. On the other hand, there needs to be some kind of a pacing of content for you to learn the nitty-gritty mechanics of the game, because as you move forward throughout the game, some new mechanics are being unfolded. For instance, currently into the game, you don't even see the spirit system, which will be later on divided. For instance, like one of the first things that you will learn will be how to kind of do quests, how to upgrade heroes. Then in the end, you will be blowing up a quest research settlement of the evil character and stuff like that. So we definitely don't want to overcome people with too much mechanics, so there's a pacing system set up. But of course, if you are really engaged and want to kind of brute force through it, you still can. That's not like a limiting factor.
Excellent. And then some art side here. Will heroes have changeable skins?
Not initially. We are not currently looking at this one, because there will be a lot of heroes, as I said, and a lot of units. Not only your units that you can control, I mean the heroes, but also enemy units that you can encounter throughout the game, and you will need to learn their mechanics in order to overcome them. So I would say expect much more diverse variety of units in the whole game compared to Battle Legion, whereas in Battle Legion there's, I don't know, something in the vicinity of like 60 or 70 units or something like that, if I'm counting the non-usable ones by player. Yeah. Here, the pool of units that will be non-usable by player, I mean the ones that will be challenging you in the encounters or dungeons, will be much bigger than the ones that you will be able to use. So expect much more kind of diverse stuff to encounter rather than being able to kind of change your skins. It takes a lot of graphical capacity, so we're focusing mainly there.
Excellent. And it looks as though we are on the last question actually here. This is one that I can even answer. Do you plan on doing regular community events on this game? On my part, yes, we will be continuing all sorts of events. Hopefully fight night style things where we can see players battle. Remo, do you have something to add to that?
So we're definitely thinking about like running some kind of event things. As I said, because even the NFT part of the game, it will be like pretty limited. It won't be like farmable. So like that's one of the things that we're definitely looking forward to, have some kind of event functionality where you could join in and actually get some kind of a rewards out of that in a competitive aspect. So we'll see about that one. The other thing is that the trading functionality will be supporting these. Even things like the current even merge board that you have will sometimes maybe increase during event times. I've seen this works pretty well for some people. So that's something that we're considering, but also overall kind of community contests regarding content creation that you can do, and then kind of get some kind of in-game rewards. Definitely, we're looking into that, and yeah, so expect stuff that we did pretty much in Battle Legion, but also some kind of new functionality on top of that. But we'll see. It will be mainly based on the rollout of content of the game itself that we'll be kind of doing, because of course if we want to do like in-game event, we first need to have the game itself, of course. So that's the different thing, which also is one thing that kind of is different compared to other games in this, let's say, Web3 genre that we have. Whereas in most of the cases, when you see other kind of Web3 or crypto-based games, most of the game that you see is some kind of a nice mockups or graphics with a roadmap. As I said, most of those are kind of really far away, stretched somewhere to the end of next year. We definitely want to go the other way around, whereas as you see, we already have some kind of beta prototype of the game that we are already working on for quite some time, and want to get community feedback on the actual gameplay first. So yeah, because if we, as said, if we already are kind of building the boxes and the structure of the game, then it's much easier for us to build the content of the game. But yeah, we have the game. That's like one of the bigger differences. Like, we know how it feels, we know how it plays, we know how long it takes you to complete this and that. So it won't be just like promises on something. You will be able to play the game next month. So that will be one of the bigger differences.
For sure, that is a big thing. Do we have any interesting questions from the chat? Because we have gone through the
yeah, we can go for some of them. I think there have been some new ones added there. Will there be some wiki side launch for the game covering heroes, dungeons, and mechanics? Not yet, I guess. Usually how I see it, that the community comes up with these, but yeah, we'll definitely be giving more and more information throughout the development of the game. So if somebody wants to take up the challenge and convert it into it, feel free to do so. As I said, that engaging with the community will be rewarded by us, so feel free to kind of take that one up. For trading functions, are prices fixed or player driven? Some of the things that will be sold through us on the marketplace, we can consider those being fixed, because as said before, we want to preserve the accessibility of the game. So we don't really want for things to kind of skyrocket completely, so you are not able to like get into any mechanic there. But yeah, most of the stuff will be in the end player driven, because players will be the ones engaging with the ecosystem. Are players able to reroll heroes in case they want to refund resources to focus on other heroes? I don't think so. This is not that usual gacha game which has like a reroll mechanic built into it. I know people especially in Asia, they do this a lot, whereas you start the game, in the first 30 minutes the game gives you a lot of let's say free drops, or kind of pretty much the gacha mechanic, where you can have random heroes, and if people don't get the kind of good ones within 30 minutes, they reroll and start over and do this until they get something useful. So yeah, we're definitely not doing that one. Everybody will start with the same heroes within the adventure, and then depending on the event dungeons that you encounter later, that depends on you, of course, how you are able to challenge those, and in which ones you are able to pick, because as said, they won't be permanent. They will be coming in scheduled lineup. So depending on the day of the week or week of the month, you will decide what content you want to engage with.
Cool. So, there's no questions in the chat. Have been answered mostly. Well, there's some questions based on kind of like what Battle Legion has done. Will there be sharing of any? Well, I don't think their shards aren't in the game, but will there be any sort of sharing between clan members? I suppose possibly, but we'll see.
Yeah, not kind of like fully planned now, but there will be definitely some kind of like social, let's call it social helper functionality, when having the strongest team members in the clan will be definitely beneficial. So we'll look into that. So should not be something that will be missed there.
Excellent. Actually, we've got a question come up. You mentioned that it's good to level multiple heroes to enjoy all the contents and gain advantage, but you referred to limited resources. So how hard will it be?
Well, depending on like how much kind of a thing you want to overcome. Of course, it like choosing the, let's say, the choice of spending right resources into right heroes is like one of the, let's say, skill component of the game. Whereas even just being able to kind of upgrade the heroes that you currently need, so that will depend, of course, on individual skill of the players. Because even though the merging mechanic can seem simple, it's not that simple. As we said, it's kind of easy to learn, hard to master, because in the end, lots of heroes are costing the same tokens, and it's really upon your strategy. How do you spend those and level up the heroes that you actually need within the challenges, or the ones that you can use with your strategy to beat the content of the game. So it will be varied, but shouldn't be that hard that it's kind of a bear behind something. We're definitely looking into making it accessible. Like all contents of the game will be, or layers of the game will be accessible if you are following the strategy.
Yeah. It's been a great stream. Thank you once again, Remo, for being here. We have to do this again. This was good. Once we have the beta out there, I'm sure there'll be even more questions out with everybody. Let's see. Do another AMA event. See if it's Remo, maybe somebody else. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, thank you all for joining and for writing up the questions. Again, feel free to even have more on the Discord, or in the next batch of this, we'll go through those and again can do it once more once we have more things to show, which are definitely coming.
Definitely. Okay. Thank you, guys. See you later.